Hey guys, B8KD here. Today I'm going to be going over the Griffin, the second in line of the EWAR frigates. This thing is an exceptionally cheap and awesome ship for small fleet and medium fleet PvP. If you can get an alt on one of these, since they are lower tiered, you can just send them in the back lines and completely guidance disrupt anything within range. This ship has pretty much no DPS, but let's just check it out really quick. The Caldari Griffin. For this ship, I would recommend that you have all of your skills completely maxed out, but, well, that's not what I mean. The completely maxed skills for signal disruption, just the lower tiered one, and you could go for 5 out of 5 advanced frigate command bonus, but this does give a flight time bonus and damage, which this thing has pretty much no DPS on it. But the flight time bonus does helps you get out of range of missiles while disrupting their missiles from even hitting you. But the signal disruption bonus per level 100% needs to be 5 out of 5. It only takes, I think, 3 days to completely max that out, or 4 or something, so that's a must. Going down here, cargo hold is fairly small. It's kind of a slow ship, and the defense is just minuscule, 1200, which is not really, 590 on the shield, 303 on the armor, 307 on the structure. So you do not want to get hit by anything in this. So I'll show you how I have her built, and we'll go from there. I do have just Mark V small missile launchers because I'm not going to be doing any DPS on this ship, or if I am, I'll be well out of people's ranges for them to even hit me. I have a 25-kilometer range with fairly decent missile skills. I'm 5.53 on that. Along with completely maxed advanced frigate command bonus, so I have all of the bonuses for this ship that it requires. So 25 kilometers is pretty good. For the mid slot, I do have 2 guidance disruptors, which I would probably put better ones on here, but this is just my throwaway Griffin, just to kind of, log in on my alt, disrupt somebody while I'm orbiting around. But you'll see on the guidance disruptors, you have a 40-kilometer range, or 38.9, accuracy fall off of 16. So it does hit harder when you're out at the probably around 30 to 38 range, but it will hit under that range with a lot lower effects, pretty much. The accuracy fall off is 16.8 on missiles. You get a lower velocity bonus, a higher explosion radius, so it makes it harder to apply damage to the ship that you have guidance disrupted, and the flight time bonus is negative 24%, which with 2 of these going, you can almost get somebody down to 50% of their range. So if you imagine somebody has a 20-kilometer small missile range, you guidance disrupt them down to 10, and you can comfortably kite them at 20 kilometers. Now, you do have 2 of these, so you can't disrupt them, so you have to rely on somebody else to disrupt. You can stick a regular disruptor, not a scram, I would recommend. And sit around 20 kilometers, just disrupting somebody and shooting 90 DPS per missile, 80 DPS at them. I did go with just a small afterburner. This gives you a little bit more tank. It acts kind of like a defensive module. You can do a micro warp drive and just zip around, but it does drain your cap, reduces your cap, and makes this ship not as effective. Once you're in range or out of range, I would say you pretty much just activate your guidance disruptors and orbit, go back to your main account, and just start blapping whoever you're attacking. I do have a Wolf small shield extender for the low slot. If you happen to get targeted, you can hopefully pop this and get a few more seconds to live, or get your guidance disruptors activated to hopefully make it sure you don't die to a missile users. Of course, these do not work on anything with tracking, so missile boats are where these are most effective. If we see here, a capacitor is 3 minutes and 10 seconds, and typically that's well within the range of killing somebody and disrupting them to the point where your fleet can kill somebody. You can turn this into a completely AFK build and pop a C-type small capacitor battery on there. If you see here, we have a fairly large power grid, so we can really slap whatever we want on there. Yeah, not one of those. Let's see if a medium capacitor battery, 50 out of 59. So if you weren't attacking, you could put a medium capacitor battery on there and be completely maxed out, it looks like. So you can disrupt somebody from a distance and just die if you want. These batteries aren't that expensive, but I would probably recommend just the small. Small will do its due diligence, especially with the lower activation time and stuff like that. But just any small capacitor battery works. Yeah, I have one other missile slot that I'm going to attach, and then we'll just kind of test this on a stabber equipped with missiles. I don't have another account that has missiles trained, so we'll just kind of take that for comparison and see how much damage we can do with the guidance disruptors. Now down below for our rig slots, I did equip a flight time bonus by 10%. These are only cost about $1 mil. They're more than the actual ship costs, but I think the kiting aspect of the ship is necessary. You can go more tank or more DPS. This thing just really doesn't really shine in anything, so it doesn't really matter what kind of rigs you put on it. Down below I did a CCC and a capacitor multiplier. The free rigs work just fine on this ship, especially for what it's being used for. Just some cheap frigate EWAR. So with that capacitor battery I have equipped, we are stable on the capacitor, so you can pretty much track and disrupt 24/7 and not go dry. So that means you can be completely AFK, just pop your capacitor battery and just dip off. Alright, so this is my second build, which I think I like a little bit more than the small missile build. If you see here, you do get small missile flight time and small missile torpedo damage, so it makes the DPS fairly about the same. But if you have good medium missile skills, my power grid is down to 30 on this. So I have 2 medium rapids at a 19-kilometer range, so that is a little bit closer than the small missiles. I just kind of found this build, just kind of exploring, but I think the kind of kitey, more long-range small missiles might be better for this ship. Of course, you have the 2-track guidance disruptors, and I had to take out the CCC and just put a power grid bonus in there, 4.5. You might be able to do this build if you have a 1 or 2 power grid on that. I did have to just stick a damage control in there just for that 1 power grid. Anything with 1 power grid will work in that slot, but you see everything is small, Mark 5, just pretty much the lowest it can be already. If you look at my skills, I'm pretty much maxed in just about all frigate related skills, but my frigate engineering is 555. So I'm going to take the build out just like this, and we are going to explore how much we can chip away from a different missile boat, which is just the stabber, but we'll get right into it. Alright, so I'm in my stabber with every different type of missile equipped. There is the Griffin. Remember, the optimal range is at 38. So I'm going to go ahead and lock my guy. And if we just kind of take a look at our fittings really quick. The Challengers, These can get a lot further if you have missile skills and or the ship you're flying, but we're going to get a general idea of what these can do. So I got 27 missile range, 15, 15, and 5. Now we can also look at explosion velocity and radius, 140, and on something like this is 40, and something like our small missiles is 40 as well. Not sure why the explosion radius is exactly the same on the medium and the small, but it is what it is. Explosion radius is 20, so half of that. So let's go ahead and just engage one guidance disruptor there. So we are being guidance disrupted by this pesky old Griffin. So it dropped our missile range by, I think, 5 kilometers, which will be slightly more effective if you have a higher range, say the least. We are at 12 on the medium, so 3 kilometer reduce, 11 kilometers, and 4. Not sure why it reduces a different amount on those, but now our explosion radius went up from 40 to 46, 40 to 46, and this one went from like 120 or 140 to 164, so that will pretty much not hit any fast moving target or do barely any damage. So let's go ahead and engage our second one, and we'll have the guidance disruptors on off cycles, so they will kind of be more effective with the capacitor. Now we got 2 guidance disruptors on us. We are at 16 kilometers now, which is pretty much 10 kilometers less. We are at 9 kilometers, so pretty much anything outside of 10 you're not going to be able to hit with rapids at all. Same thing, 8 kilometers on the small missiles, and the torpedoes we're down to 3. So usually torpedoes you want to be pretty close, but you're pretty much explosion radius 184, so you're really not going to be able to hit anything fast moving, or it's going to be applying very low damage. I think the tracking disruptors are much stronger than guidance disruptors, but if you can get somebody's range reduced where their missiles aren't even hitting, that'll be doing 0 damage versus like a tracking disruptor taking your cannons out. It will still be doing a little bit of damage, but not completely nullifying you there. So that seems pretty effective. My Griffin is going 1,300 meters a second with a Mark V afterburner. I'm going to approach him and see if I can get close enough to web him, or if my orbit's going to adjust. So we are going about twice as fast as the Griffin, and we are catching him pretty quickly. So a micro warp drive in this case would keep you away from this person beelining towards you, but yeah, we'll see. So let's go ahead and focus fire with our medium rapids we have. See how much damage it's doing. Hopefully it doesn't auto fire back. Okay, good. So our medium rapids per cycle are only doing 300 damage, so that's not much at all. I think it does a little bit more with the small missiles, but the activation time is longer. So you can put in a little bit of DPS on this thing while reliably kiting, but this isn't really a DPS ship, it's a support EWAR frigate in my opinion. Let's go ahead and just launch one medium missile at it. Let's see. Pretty much didn't even hit. Of course, with the correct skills or fit, you might be able to hit this. But let's just go ahead and approach this at there. Now he is orbiting me, and with my guidance Disruption, remember I'm 184 explosion radius with a 16 kilometer range. So I am within the range. I'm going to lob one of these off. Did 11 damage. So let's get orbiting correctly here. It's going to keep auto-orbiting me out. So I did 11 damage to this Griffin with an afterburner. Let's get in range of everything else. So 9 kilometers. Let's just orbit this at 3. Okay. Let's go ahead and shoot a medium rapid at it. Didn't even hit. Okay, I need to adjust my auto orbit really quick. We'll just auto him at 4. Sorry, I had everything backwards, not an orbit set for my routing I was doing earlier. Okay, we are well within range again. So let's shoot a medium rapid. I did 23 damage to it. Oh my gosh. Let's try again. So that one didn't even hit. I'm going to orbit my guy a little bit closer. So I'm pretty much not even able to shoot it. Let's shoot one of these. No, didn't hit him. Let's get a little bit closer now. Okay. Let's shoot another one. We should be within range. Nope, it's not hitting. So at 9 kilometers, you need to be even closer just because of the trajectory of the missiles. So the 8 and 9's not working. Let's just get into 0 on him. Okay. Let's try this again. One more small missile at him. 32 damage. So even if I have all these going, pretty much not doing anything to this. 30 damage, wow. Of course, in a missile boat, you might be doing more. Let's just orbit you at 0. Let's get our guy closer again. Orbit at 0. Let's see how much our small torpedoes do. I think our range is only like 3 kilometers or something. I'm just going to stop because my orbit's too fat. Okay, let's just see. He's at 1 kilometer. I can't even hit him. 17 damage. Just remember, this ship has no bonuses to missiles or anything, but that is pretty weak to say the least. Let's just go ahead and turn off our disruptors. Let's lob one of these now. 30 damage. 14. 40, so that one's doing a little bit more. Well, this might have been a better test on a better ship with missile bonuses, but you imagine it's barely going to be doing any damage, and you're going to be pretty much doing no damage to the people you're fighting. If you're a missile boat and you got 2 of these guidance disruptors on there. Alright guys, I think that's going to do it for the Griffin video. Let me know what you think. If you have any better ideas how you should have this Griffin fit, or successful things you've done with it, just let me know in the comments. This ship is extremely valuable in fleet PvP, so just having one of these cheap EWAR frigates will shut down a ship completely. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.